Hello, everybody in the internet world. How the hell are you? DU Football Show here. Getting ready to go on Twitter and Instagram and YouTube. And
with our
Facebook.
particular brand of satire.
Yeah, Sattery.
Sattery.
It's all Sattery.
Sattery warning.
Although I would say at the rate that it's going for Everton, my conspiracy shit starting to make a lot of sense, isn't it? Like,
Dude, it's not funny anymore.
no, it's not. It's really not.
Please don't say that. You might get us canceled on YouTube.
Yeah, we gotta be careful. Yeah,
Again.
It was already in bad shape, but Jesus, Rafa really fucked it over.
I would say the writing's been on the wall for a long time, and it has more to do with Mashari than it does with Rafa. Rafa was there for 8 months. This downturn's been coming.
Yeah. And you know what would have been really nice to have this week?
Uzanov's money?
A left wing back.
Yeah, exactly.
A left wing back would have been really helpful.
Also would have helped if your right back stayed on the pitch.
Yeah. Well, that's because he was playing left back, not his position.
That was also 2 rash tackles, but we'll get into that.
It was deserved. It was deserved.
Hey,
We'll
guys.
get into that.
Yeah.
How about we actually start the show?
Okay, let's start the show.
All right, that sounds good. Since you seem to be warmed up.
This is Chris from Houston, and you're listening to Drunkards United. Come on, you Irons!
Yeah, come on, you Irons. Producer Mel's 1 for 2, but still means she has to do a shot of Malort.
That's right.
I'm just continuing my run of Malort because it's pretty much all I do.
But the good part is there is no Malort in the championship.
Fuck you.
Yeah, there
think-
isn't.
I think I'm just going to take a straw, put it in, and just start chugging it like the videos.
Yeah.
Let's start the show.
Born in the land of Bowie, Maryland. Bred to be a fan of fucking Everton. Punch you in the eye and drink your rye. Sam Houston.
Sam Houston?
Arsenal fans have another Sam. AKA the fucking Gooner Graham. Snub of my lord. Looks great in shorts. Sam Grammy.
Sam Graham.
Fucking United! Fucking United!
Hello and welcome to the DU Football Show, a completely biased recap of the English Premier League as told by 2 common American schmucks. I am your host, Sam Houston, and across the way from me, living his best 21 Jump Street Johnny Depp style of life, my co-host, Mr. Samuel Graham. Hair's big today, real big.
So's the ego.
Yeah, well, yeah, I hear you, says the ego.
In terms of the team I support, not the team I play for.
I was going to say... Yeah,
I was quite humbled in that one.
Yeah, I would just like to remind you of all of the old man things you used to tell me all the time, as you, old man, are now on the pitch, discovering Father Time is not forgiving.
Oh, I was not. What's the old saying? Aging doesn't come without partners, or something like that.
Yep,
It's
exactly.
something similar. Yeah,
It's what I've always enjoyed about whenever you bust my chops about getting old. It's just like, yeah, well,
time gets all of us.
be like,
but
I've turned 40. Now it just waits for you.
yeah,
And
exactly.
I've already turned 40, so I can't wait for it to happen to you. So like 50's right around the corner for me. The beauty is 50 will be done and dusted, and then when you turn 50, I'll be there to bust your fucking balls. It'll be great.
Yeah.
We're recording at the DU Public House just outside the nation's capital. You can check us out on all podcast platforms. Please be sure to rate, subscribe, review, and share with a footballing friend. Take a second to review on Apple as well. We really want to. It really helps a lot, and definitely hitting subscribe on YouTube. Even if you're listening to us on another platform, subscribing on YouTube really helps a lot.
Yes, please.
Should you want to chat with us, there is many ways that you can. Sammy, tell the good people how they can get in touch.
Absolutely. It is dufootballshow@gmail.com to get in touch via email, or at dufootballshow on all of the social medias. There you will find links to a few other ways that I'll talk about later that you can get in touch, support the show as well. But we do also check our DMs. So send us a Facebook request or whatever to get into DUFC, which is the closed Facebook group where most of the banter happens.
All the memes.
Yeah, all the memes. All the memes.
All the memes.
And I don't know what happened, but this past weekend, the meme factory that supports my algorithm was on fucking fire this weekend.
I just think that it was the entire world because, Russia's in a little bit of hot water right now. I think the rest of the world just went, oh, wait, Russian owner owns Chelsea. Let's fuck with that with all the memes.
That's true.
I think there was a little bit of inspiration this weekend.
Until the Harry Maguire own goal.
Oh, Jesus.
They were like, wait a second. Old Chelsea's off the hook for about 15 minutes.
And Ronaldo scoring a hat trick and Messi having a total of 2 goals.
Tom Brady standing there like a fucking weirdo on the field after the game.
Our boy, Mr. LePage from the Wolves in Houston, noting that Connor Cody has one more goal than Messi this year.
Yeah.
He's very, very happy about that,
that is
one,
pretty
too.
good. I love those stats. Are very funny.
Lots of good stuff, man.
Yeah.
Sam and myself both work in the wine and spirit industry and both have a deep, passionate love for all things distilled spirits. So as the red-blooded Americans we are, we've got to have a drink in our hand throughout this show and every single show. We're going to go a little bit of a different route tonight. We, of course, are going to continue with the top 20 whiskeys. But first, it is St. Patrick's Day week, and we do need to have some Irish in our lives, don't we, Sammy?
Yes, we do.
Why don't you tell us about this brand new Irish whiskey from a former employee of mine?
Yes. So Whistle Pig partnered with a guy in Northern Ireland, and they have brought to you Limavady Irish whiskey. It is a single malt, single barrel Irish whiskey. Comes in at 92 proof, which I believe makes it the second highest proof on offer. Because I think that Bushmills Black is the only one that's 100 proof.
Okay, very good.
If memory serves. I haven't sold Bushmill for a number of years, so I don't quite remember. But I think Black is a little bit more higher in proof. Anyway, Limavady. You all right?
Yeah, producer Mel
lost about 6 inches.
Dropping beers, seats sagging, just everything going all over the place.
Her seat sagging. That's funny. That might be the name of the episode. Goddammit.
Well, it's you should normally chime in with the thing. There you go. Now, what was that you said?
Nope.
Go right back to muting yourself. Thank you very much.
All right. So from their website, venture 100 kilometers northwest of Belfast. Should I do it in a Northern Irish accent?
No, you should do it in a normal accent.
Venture 100 kilometers northwest of Belfast, and you'll find the town of Limavady, tucked away in the Roe Valley. Sorry, that's an E. In coastal climate and fertile land, the perfect setting for Irish whiskey production, which began in 1750 in the Limavady distillery. At its peak, the distillery is producing 1.2 million liters per annum. Every bottle a postcard from the town to whiskey drinkers across the world. I like that little line. Of course, nothing worth having comes easy. And in the 1910s, the Limavady distillery was shuttered during the global downfall of Irish whiskey. The years passed, experience became memory, memory became legend. But from that legend sprang an idea, and the new Limavady whiskey was born. Dun, dun, dun.
Lovely.
So here you go. Like I said, it's 92 proof, single grain, or single malt rather, not grain. Single malt, single barrel Irish whiskey. So give it a go.
Lovely. Soft honey, really easy drinking. Barley shines. Literally no smoke to it at all,
No.
which I actually appreciate, considering what we're about to go on to.
Yep.
This is delicious.
What would this run you on the shelf?
So usually, if it's feature price, if you get somebody buying in on it and wanting to get rid of it, I look at about $39.99 on the shelf, but more than likely to be around the $42 to $45.99 kind of.
It's a great price
range.
And that's for a single malt. Normally, single malts are normally
Yeah, it's fucking delicious, isn't it?
60, 70. Yeah, that's really, really wonderful.
It's there's no smoke to it at all, but there is like a roasted oak over the middle. Mm-hmm. It's woody.
Yeah, but
you-
it's not smoky.
It's not smoky, but you get like almost like drinking that. For instance, Mel, that toasted lager I brought in. You kind of have that toasted, roasted over the mid palate. Do you get that?
I do.
It's almost
really
like a creme
that.
brulee almost.
Yeah,
Like a toasted honey. Maybe.
a little bit of banana in the nose.
Sniff there.
I mean, a soft little bit of the sweetness.
Listen, I
reminds me
can't
of a
deal with
banana.
this, okay? On sound
I'll
check.
give you some ripe banana.
On shout.
Whiskey
That
Sam
sounded- that
said
sounded
ripe
like it.
banana.
That sounded like a euphemism. On, I'll give you
Wrong
some ripe
show for
banana.
that.
No, but him talking about his stiff rod in his neck, and then you bringing up bananas here,
Again,
earlier. Jesus Christ.
that would be DU After Dark. And hey, Graham, how does one get that show?
Patreon.com/DU Football Show. But with all this discussion, we may have to turn this fan on. It's getting a little warm in here.
Heard getting hot in here. A lovely package. The cap's a little much for me. It's a glass cap,
It
so
looks good.
well, you
It's
just
a
get
pain
nervous.
in the dick to get off.
You get nervous that you're gonna break it
I know.
because it's got this kind of a bulbous head to it, and then it's the glass cap. But it's a good looking package.
I like it. I think it stands out on the shelf. I like it a lot.
Yeah, it tastes great. It's a good price.
Yeah.
Hearing 39 to 45, that's the sweet spot. That's where you want to be.
It's also
If you're a
finished in
whiskey.
XPS sherry barrels.
Oh, okay, very good.
So ex-bourbon first, and then XPS sherry
Lovely.
is the finish to that.
And this comes from the people at Whistle Pig.
Yeah, so by the way, just so you know, and we've discussed it before, but there may be some new people listening in. A single barrel doesn't necessarily mean it just means it isn't blended, right? So you could take that vat of whiskey and then finish it in another barrel. It's still a single.
Right. And you could also
Barrel.
cut it with water to proof it down.
Right.
Right. It's barrel proof would be where it's not cut
Right.
with any water.
But single barrel does not necessarily mean solitarily one barrel. It means that other barrels are not blended with that.
Right. It means it's its own
Correct.
individual barrel.
Just want to make sure people know because it
Very
is
cool.
aged in two types of wood, but the one vat of liquid that went into first barrel is the same vat of liquid that went into second barrel.
Right.
Done.
Very good. Now, what's availability on this? Is it pretty readily available for the market?
Yeah, so
or-
it just came out about a month ago, and we didn't get a super amount in to begin with. So yes, it is available. I do have some in stock, but it has already gone out of stock once, and it was about 11, 12 days before we got some in again.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's to
So-
be the reason why I asked that is because it being a single barrel, you're doing individual barrel each time for bottling, so that can slow down the cogs a little. So
Absolutely.
I would say if you see it, buy it, and if you like it, go like even if you have like a little bit of it and you like it, go buy that second bottle to have that backup. That's
But the other thing too is with a single barrel, you're going to run into an issue
slight differences.
batch to batch.
Yeah, there will be slight differences.
Right. So you may not like necessarily batch two, or may just not be your speed. And then, but it should be something that you revisit.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind seeing maybe a small release of pints in this or something, or maybe a small release of minis with each barrel.
To
And
be able
just
to
saying
have
like,
different.
yeah, well, let me try it before I go buy another bottle of it, But I don't know.
I love it. I love it. I think it's
it's delicious.
a great little whiskey.
Yeah.
It checks all the marks for a single malt, particularly an Irish single malt that
Yep.
I look for. A lot of Irish single malts will try to copy their brother across the water in Scotland, and I don't think they need to.
Correct.
I think they need to be their own thing. It's why I've always applauded like a brand like Glendalough, because they always kind of do something new and odd and interesting and different. And I appreciate that with this as well. This is it's a fantastic whiskey. So why don't we go ahead and get into the next whiskey then, Sammy?
Yes, absolutely. So we have Compass Box. This is your Whisky Advocate's 2021 top 2020. Top 20 of 2021. Fuck.
There you go.
God damn it. There's too many 2020s.
And this is
2020s,
number what?
This is number 9.
Very good.
Compass Box, no name, number 3. This was rated a 93 by the panel. It is 48.9% by volume, which my mathletes will tell me is 97.8 proof. There. And then it should run you about 130 to 135 bucks. Obviously, again, anything on the list, expect a little bit of an upcharge on top of that. Your blurb today comes from Johnny McCormick on Whisky Advocate's tasting panel. He says, the third installment of Compass Box's Gothic exploration of smoke, or the whiskeys that shall not be named, builds upon their bewitching sequence of distillery duets, pairing Ardbeg with Coila, then Coila with Talisker. Blender James Saxon invited Lefroy and Bowmore to dance for number 3. Underpinned by the familiar Compass Box foundation malts, there's a charming balance of sweetness and peat, as the hearty coastal smokiness of Lafroig is quelled by the ripe tropical fruitiness of Bowmore. The mouthfeel is satisfyingly creamy, with orange fondant, chocolat, honey, I don't know honey in French, and apricot flavors, tightly bound together by tendrils of smoke. Interesting use of the word tendrils.
Tendrils.
Yep.
Both of us are thinking of another show that we know that
again.
Tendrils uses another word behind it that is for DU After Dark.
That definition, DU After Dark once again. If you're watching on the live stream, you know exactly what's going on.
Yep. All right, go ahead.
That's it.
Okay, so it's the no-name whiskey, but then I'm looking at the bottle and it says the name of the 4 whiskeys that are in it. But it's a no-name whiskey.
Well, they didn't rename it.
Okay.
You're so not a fan of this.
I have been told for a very, very, very long time that John Glazer is this brilliant savant at making whiskey. I've been told time and time again that Compass Box is amazing. I've sold it. I've sold against it. I've seen it out in the marketplace, and I see it on the top 20 every fucking year. I do not like Compass Box one bit. I'm never impressed. It's a good enough whiskey. I get why it's here, but for me, fuck off.
It's boring. In my opinion,
it's a big peaty whiskey.
yeah, it's boring.
It's Band-Aid, it's iodine.
It's overpriced and it's boring. It's decent. It tastes fine, but it's overpriced.
I'd rather have, since this has Lafroig in it, I'd rather have the barrel-proof Lafroig that we had from 2 years ago that was on the top 20. The Carasis, I want to say it was called.
Yeah, fair enough.
I'd rather have that. I'm over Compass Box. I'm fucking over it. Like I said, I see it everywhere. There's a bajillion different marks because, again, John Glazer's some fucking wicked savant that we're all supposed to fucking bow down and kiss his ass. I'm over Compass Box. I'm fucking over it. I don't like it. It's fine. It's fine for people who like Pete. This is, you know what exactly what this whiskey is? It's the hopheads fucking version of whiskey.
Ooh,
those idiot
good
hopheads who go really butt crazy over the top hop, which has no other nuance other than hop, right? It's all finish, it's all pine, it's all bite, and you hear these idiots go on and on and on for days about how amazing they are. Yes.
We got this double IPA with these spring hops from Canada, still with the side of other hops. And they dry hopped it, then they hopped it one more time. It's a hop bomb, man.
And
Is that good?
And I feel like
So is that
people,
guy?
and I feel like the people that like Compass Box are those type of people. That they I'm gonna keep fucking yelling. Sam, please go ahead. I don't like it at all.
I will say that the water helped it a little. I get a little bit more
agree.
orange out of it. As he talked about, I get a little bit of the other flavors. Mm-hmm. None of them pronounced enough to do anything different from any other peated whiskey for me.
There are better peated whiskeys that I'd rather drink on its own.
Said it's a bit overpriced.
Yeah.
And it's a little boring.
And
That's
again,
it. But if somebody offered me this, I'd drink it. It's fine.
oh, I drink it as
But
well.
it's fine. That's
I would
the
never,
problem.
I would never buy this bottle.
That's a dig right there.
I will not buy this bottle.
It's fine.
Fine is never a good
Now,
thing.
there is not as much subcontext as when a woman says fine.
Very
Start there.
true.
No.
Let's start there.
Fine is never. I hate it when people look at my designs and go, it's fine. No, it's an insult.
Yeah, I just.
It's a basic whiskey.
It's passable. That's it. It's boring. It's basic.
I'd rather have a Bowmore. I'd rather have a Lafroig. I'd rather have
An Ardbeg.
well, no,
I'd rather have the Wee Beastie.
the Wee Beastie. We just had a Port Charlotte a little while ago. That's another one of the darlings. The tasting panel at Whisky Advocate, they love Big Pete, and they have just a complete love affair for both Compass Box and for the the Brooklotic Distillery. They have just a complete love affair for them.
Can I throw out a completely unfounded, baseless opinion?
Sure, go for it.
But relevant.
That's our show.
But relevant. Fair. The whiskey, the Whisky Advocate tasting panel, in footballing terms, would be the FIFA committee that awards the World Cup.
Yeah.
They just accept bribes and
Yeah. Yeah.
Do whatever you want.
Heard. Allegedly. Saturday. We're on YouTube. Saturday. All right, Mr. Graham, what else should we do?
Drink and accept bribes responsibly.
Yeah, because I won't be drinking much more of this, so I'll be able to be responsible just fine. Thank you.
Jesus
That
Christ.
took some efforts.
Well, Glen Cairns are very fragile.
So,
Fragile.
yeah,
Satire.
Regile must be important.
That's funny.
Is it a leg? It most certainly is.
Brilliant.
How about that?
I'm done. Bye, guys.
A movie reference that Graham gets. How about
That's funny.
It's the sign of the apocalypse.
that? It most certainly is. You know what else is a sign of the apocalypse? Is when you have a show completely written out and then Crystal Palace take 4 points off of City in one fucking calendar year.
Yeah. One season. That's wild.
Yeah, in one season. Sorry. Crystal Palace 0, Man City 0. You know what Palace did? It was the perfectly executed game plan that didn't result in being scored on, unlike Everton.
Yeah, pretty much. The other piece to that, too, is I will say, Palace did manage 7 shots.
Palace had chances.
Yeah. Now,
Yeah.
only one of those shots was on target, but there were a few that were close. You think of Elise's outside of the left boot early on.
Right at the end, Conor Gallagher, he didn't put
Yeah.
one very far from going in
Uh-uh.
in the 91st minute. Like, it was damn close.
Definitely. Absolutely. It was, now, Palace only had 26% possession.
And that was the plan. That was the
So-
plan. Go ahead, City. Oh, you want to hold on to the ball? Great. And they did exactly what Everton had done a few weeks back, which was pressure them further up the pitch, not deep in their own box.
Correct.
You know, and
Now,
just-
it was 925 touches to Palace 438, so double
Wow.
plus some. Yeah. And then the passes, listen to this. These are completed passes in the game. Manchester City had 747 passes in the game.
right.
Crystal Palace had 259.
Wow.
They almost trebled them.
Oh my God.
That's wild.
But
That's fucking wild.
But you know what matters? The fucking scoreboard.
32 clearances
Mm-hmm.
for Crystal Palace. It was insane. I mean, City were turning the screw over and over again. But like you said, it wasn't like Palace didn't have chances. They did, press from time to time. They did pick up the ball in a couple of promising positions with Elise and with Zaha. They just couldn't finish.
Yeah.
Couldn't really even test Ederson. Like I said, they only managed the one shot on target. I think they maybe hit a post.
They made him fucking nervous. I can tell you that.
Oh, fuck yeah, they did.
made him nervous because when they got opportunities, it was numbers against City. They
Oh, yeah.
and they turned it on quick. And credit to players like Elise and also Zaha for getting back and playing in position and doing. I mean, that is thankless work when your job is just like for Zaha. It's like making sure Kyle Walker stays in check.
Yeah.
But he did it because normally that's what breaks open the game. When you're worried all about that midfield front and attacking front, it's suddenly Cancelo or Walker that makes something happen. And these guys, they did the thankless work, man. They did the
100%.
thankless fucking work.
So I just did the math, actually. City have drawn 4 this year. They've lost 3.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that makes 2 out of 7. They drop points to Palace,
Mm-hmm.
right? That is 28.5% of their games where they drop points in are to Crystal Palace.
Yeah, no shit.
Almost a third of all of the games that they drop points in are to Palace.
Yep.
Isn't that crazy?
And it's insane.
It's everybody's got a bogey team. It was like you guys in United a couple years ago.
Yeah.
In the Tim Cahill kind of era.
Yeah.
Before David Moyes took over there.
Yeah.
At United rather, where for whatever reason you all just had the number of Manchester United. Fellaini scored, how many
Right.
times, all that kind of shit. Did a 3-3, just kept taking points off of them.
Right. Now, for City, this now means they are only 4 points ahead of Liverpool with Liverpool with a game in hand, which is against you in this midweek. Should they win, they then find themselves just a mere 1 point behind City.
And they play City early on in April, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So really,
and they have the goal differential.
both teams have it in their own hands, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is the stage where that game means everything. Even if Liverpool lose to us, they're still only a point back,
Right.
or 4 points back, rather.
Right. Which means
They
as
just
long as
wouldn't-
they could just go win.
They just wouldn't control everything.
Right. But they go and beat City, then all they have to do is wait for City
Correct.
to slip again.
Exactly.
Which, frankly, City's been prone to do.
They could 100% do.
Absolutely been prone
Yep.
to do. Here, kind of the last thought here. Can we finally say Palace has arrived?
I think I've been leaning towards that all season, just haven't been willing to say it out loud. But I think Patrick Vieira is doing wonderful things there. He in one summer really has lowered the age profile of the squad. He has got them playing better defense. He's got them playing more coherently overall. Well, not really better defense, but he's got the defense younger, and then the new guy signed on to how to play defense.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not just Roy Hodgson's version of defense that gets you a point. It's defense with a purpose.
Right.
It's, collect the ball, be calm, spray it out wide, play it over the top to somebody. Don't just clear it.
Right.
Play it out wide to your outside back, bring it back inside to your center midfielder, bring it back out again, and play these kind of long 1-2s and this 1 and 2 touch transition. He's turned them into a defense with a purpose team.
And wingers,
and it's helped them go on and score
wingers
goals.
and strikers be ready to go on a dime. Be ready to go on a dime. Quick transition right into play. And just write the check for Conor Gallagher.
Yeah, you have to.
Just write the fucking check.
You know what? That's one of the players that I think could be snapped back up by Chelsea because
They're not allowed to spend any
as
money.
of right now, they're not allowed to spend any money. Well, as of right now, they're about 15 days away from going into administration
Right.
because they can't access their bank accounts.
Right.
Because they're all owned by Roman fucking Abramovich.
Precisely.
So, trouble. Yeah?
Yeah.
And they're not allowed to sign anyone new. And they have Rudiger, they have Cesar Azpilicueta, and they have somebody else that I can't remember out of contract at the end of the year.
Yeah.
They're going to need the help. Jorginho's not getting any younger, really.
Mm-hmm.
He's already relatively immobile. Conte's not really an attacking midfielder. He's more now of the best box-to-box midfielder in the world. So you're going to need that number 10 because Mason Mount hasn't really been fit all season.
Yeah.
When he has been fit, he hasn't been firing for real. He can also be farmed down on the left, farmed down on the right, and fill a number of different roles. So you could still include him in the team if you need to. Conor Gallagher is kind of the perfect number 10 at the moment.
Might be the spot.
Right,
Might
and if
very
they
well be the
can't
spot.
sign anyone new, it's not a bad idea. Now, Pulisic's been there, but who's to say if Tuchel leaves? Because there are rumors of that now.
Mhm.
If Tuchel leaves, who comes in?
True.
What and how do they view Christian Pulisic? How do they
Stop
view?
talking about Chelsea. They get talked about.
I'm just
enough.
saying. I'm just saying. It's in terms of Palace, that player in particular is a scary proposition because of what's going on in the world and ultimately snowballing down to Chelsea Football Club.
Excellent. So, final question, and then on to the next segment. Do you think Liverpool overtakes City?
Yes.
Yep.
The reason I say that, and not because of Wednesday coming up either. The reason I say it is because City is so fucking focused on the Champions League, and now that PSG are out of it, the only team they really have to worry about is Bayern Munich.
Well, good worry about Liverpool too. They're still in it.
Yeah, but Liverpool's won that, and City wants it, and City lost in a final last year, and City, and I think there's a lot going on with Chelsea. Obviously, I think they're going to be too distracted. I think they're going to be too worried about staying in the competition so the company can function. So I would tend to think that Liverpool would go for like a domestic treble over winning the Champions League this year.
I hate to admit it, but I tend to agree with you. The final spot for Champions League is heating up as a few clubs have had massive rebounds. Manchester United 3, Tottenham 2, Arsenal 2, Leicester 0, West Ham 2, Villa 1. Ronaldo makes history in the most, honestly, if we wanted to compare this to another sport, this is very LeBronish of him, sits out a game, hips aren't doing well, then comes on, gets a fucking hat trick, carries the team, kind of almost in a way of like to look at the coach and go, okay, it's cute. You think, hey, Thor Ragnarok, you think you coach the team. You don't. You can sit down. I got this shit, okay? We're going to go ahead and win now.
I think Thor said in this post-match something along the lines of, maybe we need to change his preparation for every game. Like, yeah, he's 36 fucking years old. Of course you do, you idiot. It was an awesome game, first of all, to watch.
Oh,
this
God,
is
yeah.
what the primetime game is supposed to be.
Oh, yes.
This is end-to-end stuff, some comedy relief. Thank you, Harry Maguire, as usual, for providing that.
Well, it had a story to it as well.
Yeah.
It felt like a drama unfolding.
But it had some good football in it. It had some twists and turns. It had, a somewhat controversial penalty until you saw the replay, and then you realized it was not controversial at all.
No, not one bit.
It really did have. It had everything except the player getting sent off. Honestly,
Yeah.
It's really too bad that I hated both teams involved in it.
Yeah.
Almost equally.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but Ronaldo's hat trick was brilliant. It was wild, man. 806th and 807th goals, I believe, in professional football, overtaking the Iranian guy whose name escapes me at the moment.
Right.
But for the accepted most goals ever in a professional footballing career.
Yeah. Is Ronaldo.
And only an asshole would have them on their bench this week. I forgot to take him off.
That's terrible.
I was so busy, I forgot to take him off because he was injured the week before.
And then one of her defenders got subbed out for another defender because you have to have at least 3 defenders on. So, yeah. So those points
I'm still
sitting on the
winning,
bench.
but fuck.
All right.
That sucks.
Yeah.
But so now you purists out there are going to agree with everything that just was said because them's the rules.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
You fantasy lads are going to say no. But what about Pele?
Right.
So, different era, right? Santos, being one of the most famous clubs in the world who Pele played for, would oftentimes go on tours, essentially, where the games were competitive because this was prove yourself against the Brazilian lads.
Right.
Right? They were technically friendly matches. They were not official competitive matches, which means those goals did not count to anyone except Pele and Richard Keys.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Essentially.
Yeah.
So they are not included. Now, apparently, the Guinness Book of World Records recognizes them, and that's what people are saying. But FIFA is the ultimate decider of these things, and they say that Ronaldo is
Well, is
the all-time men's leading goal scorer.
also all-time goal scorer does not equal greatest ever. I would still say that title sits between Pele and Diego.
Oh, yeah. No, I
ultimately.
get.
And Ronaldo and Messi are a distant third and fourth.
I didn't
Personally.
I didn't mean that the greatest.
Yeah.
I meant greatest ever goal scorer. In terms of,
No, I got you on that. I wanted to throw in that personal caveat.
But the manner in which Pele and Diego Maradona, especially, and kind of together, overlapping for a while,
Yeah.
reinvented football and brought it into the modern era. The way in which they interacted with the ball, the way in which they interacted with their team, paved the way for people like Ronaldo to exist.
Right. And Messi. Yeah. as
Right. I mean, basically, if you want to think about it, I know Maradona did coke, but hear me out. It's kind of like what heroin did for rock and roll.
well. Her punk.
Everything was pretty basic, and then slash. You know what I'm saying?
True. Very true. Love it. Kane keeps scoring for Spurs despite not being happy, or who knows what the.
So lame.
Yeah, he just knows how to put.
But
the
it's
ball in
so
the-
dumb.
He's got 20 goals this year, quietly between all competitions. He's got 20 goals.
I know, and he didn't score for like 3 months. The first 3 months of the season.
Yeah, exactly.
But you think about the Klinsmann slide.
Yeah,
You think about the Robbie Keane tuck and jump up,
right.
celebrate. Iconic Spurs forward celebration. Berbatov looking like he has a pulse because the rest of the time he didn't.
Right.
And then Harry Kane jumps and does this. Does like a major pain finger point.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck off, mate.
I was just going to talk
something.
about other celebrations canceled on kicking people in the stands.
Yeah, shit like that.
Yeah.
Driving a car drunk after a Bolton game.
Hey, Timmy Cahill punching the corner flag like a boxer at least, you know? Yeah.
perfect.
He always just goes, it is kind of lame.
It's so lame. It's so boring. That's why he's a mouth-breathing twat.
Speaking of mouth breathers, Harry Maguire cannot get out of Harry Maguire's way. Way to set it up and I knock it down. That is absolutely brilliant.
He didn't need to make the tackle.
No, the guy was going to be
fine.
offsides.
Yeah.
It was going to be offsides. If he didn't touch the ball would have been offsides. Shithousery.
I prefer Jamie Vardy's kind of relatively subtle version of shithousery, where he does quivering lips and you just fired your manager.
Well, and he does it to fans. He doesn't do it to other players.
What's his name? Sergio Romero, is that his name? Got directly in the face of Harry Maguire, laughed at him while he was still sitting on the ground. It is brilliant. But I do like Jamie Vardy's brand a little bit better.
It's kind of it's funny because we were talking about this off air before, or actually over the weekend. Maguire's a good defender. Like, he just might be having the worst season in his entire career, and unfortunately, it's with the team you can't afford to have your worst season ever in your career, because he's a good defender. There's a reason why he is immediately penciled into the England squad. He's fucking good. But this year, he cannot get out of his own way. If there's a mistake to be made, Harry Maguire finds a way to make it.
Yeah, but then he does weird shit, like head a ball in the Euros and go slide into the corner flag with his fingers in his ears. I can't hear you.
He cannot get out of his own way.
It's bad.
Really bad.
It's bad.
Let's move on. Gunners continue with professional wins, man. Just getting W's.
So this usually we use that term for when a team is loads better than another one, but they don't take their chances and they win 2-0 and walk out of, Norwich.
Right.
You know what I mean? And they didn't play their best stuff, but they went and got a job done. So this was like a very good version of that because there was still some good football. Aaron Ramsdale was needed.
Yep. Made a brilliant
there
save.
weren't
brilliant save.
A ton of chances to be had for Arsenal, but they took the ones that were necessary. Partey with a great header, and it was a Partey at the Emirates with that.
Hear your dad jokes.
And then a couple minutes later, what a fucking strike it was. Got the ball out from under his feet off the little layoff and cranked it to the upper 90, hit the angle itself. Very unfortunate. He wasn't at the double within like 23 minutes or something.
Lacazette gets a goal. God, needed him to get a goal.
So he's never gone 10 games in an Arsenal shirt without a goal.
Okay, well, it was good.
Yesterday would have been the 10th.
He needed it. He needed it. I mean, it's not... he didn't need it. He's been playing very well.
He's been playing brilliantly.
But to shut up, the most supportive fan base in the world next to Manchester United supporters, Arsenal supporters, the man needed to score a goal, and it was good to see him get one.
Well, it was also a brilliant fucking finish. Kasper Schmeichel guessed the right way, but the power and precision of the strike took it away from him. Gabriel Martinelli played very well, which I just saw my notes actually auto-corrected it to Martinez.
Heard.
Brilliant.
Freudian slip.
That's your guy, isn't it?
We'll get on to them.
Thanks. Notes. Microsoft Word.
Here's one for you. Not expected, but Xhaka and Partey are starting to form a really good partnership.
Yeah.
Who would have fucking thought?
Well, Xhaka's a decent footballer. Like he didn't live up to the captaincy, and that's fine. But Xhaka's a decent footballer. He's just got a mad moment in him. And that showed itself. That showed itself in this game.
Yeah.
He caught the fucking ball before it went out of bounds.
Yeah.
Did you end up seeing that?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. He goes to catch the ball and throw it in. The ball went out of fucking bounds yet. So handball.
Yep.
And even, was it Pereira or whoever was about to take the free kick, like, didn't know what to do. It's like, what's the whistle for?
What's going on here?
But it's just like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And you expected when that happened for him to like take his anger to the referee out on someone else by kicking them, which he didn't do, which was good.
So the bigger point of me mentioning the two of them working well together has been the big kind of criticism of Arsenal has always been that baby Barcelona ability to play very beautiful football and having a great number
They
10,
have no spine.
but zero spine. Suddenly now, defense is solid. There's depth. Next man up is doing a good job. Like, in the case of your one, Tierney's been out a few times. Also, I'm forgetting his name.
Tomiyasu.
Yes, the Korean gentleman.
Japanese.
Yeah, Japanese. Sorry, he's out. So Cedric Soares, step right in.
Don't be Mark Noble.
I will not be Mark Noble. I saw that one too. All the memes. But for you guys, it's next man up.
Yep.
And it's working.
We finally have a little bit of depth.
Well, and your balls dropped. You actually seem to have some guts and some gumption. Not red hot, get a red card, act like a fool, which is what you had been doing. It seems like you're finally starting to get some mental strength and stability, and that can only benefit you.
Absolutely. And so there's 3 points I want to make before we have to move on.
Yeah.
It was one of the pundits I listened to on Sirius XM, and that also has a podcast that I thought were brilliant. We've complained for about the last, not complained necessarily, but we've used as an excuse for the last 18 months as Arsenal supporters. They're young. Youngness, youth is probably a better way to say youngness, breeds inconsistency. That's just what happens. How do you gain that consistency? Learning. How do you learn? You fucking play.
Yeah.
You get the experience, right? This is on-the-job training, basically. And they're doing it very fucking well. Number one.
Very well.
Number two, Arteta, even when it's been difficult to do, Arteta has gotten rid of the naysayers to him. So everyone that is left at the club is all pulling in the same direction now.
Right. Which is huge.
Very fucking true. You had Ozil playing Fortnite with his, fucking bullshit, right? Streaming and stuff. You had Aubameyang sulking, getting 14 touches a game, but he's our fucking captain. Like that, that kind of stuff. He's gotten rid of people that did not buy in.
Yep.
Right? And now everybody at the club is pulling in the same direction. They're all doing what Arteta wants them to do. And now it's couple that with we now have experience. We have the adversity of having Aubameyang do fuck all in a game. We had the adversity of Ozil doing fuck all in a game when he was fit. And now we've come through all that.
And the kids, Xhaka getting a bunch of stupid reds, your kids getting stupid reds.
Right. So you have that adversity, and we've come through it, and look where we are. So now everybody...
Your goalie not wanting to play for you anymore, and you having to bring in a new goalie.
Yeah. Now everybody is bought in, and they're all helping to push the car up the hill.
Yeah.
And it's fucking working.
Yeah, it is.
Right? And the third thing, which was a trope on this very same show that I was listening to, that I didn't really even think about, haven't given much thought to. Arsenal are probably one of the most attractive squads, and including management, in the country.
Oh, they're damn good-looking people.
Yeah.
They are good-looking people. I'll give you that one.
Others mentioned were Chelsea, not including the manager because he looks like a fucking serial killer.
Right.
But the squad as a whole is attractive. And then Everton, and simply for Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Frank Lampard.
Well, no. Oh, you forgot the most important one.
I didn't forget anything. These are the words of other people.
Oh, they're so wrong. Andres Gomez. I was going to say,
exactly.
I was going to say they're attractive only on the terms
I know.
of Andres Gomez. And then everybody else brings it up a little. But, it's Andres Gomez.
Villa, obviously, were also mentioned. Steven Gerrard not being an unattractive man, but Douglas Luiz, Matty Cash, I mean,
Villa Fox. It's
Watkins,
a well-established trait.
All right.
And, I'm going to go ahead and say it. Steven Gerrard, hottest manager in the Prem right now.
Fuck off. It's Mikel Arteta, and you know it. Even my wife doesn't give a shit, and she's like, look at that guy.
All right, so second hottest.
It's Arteta. It's Arteta.
I said second hottest. It's a good thing Scotty Parker's in the Championship League.
That's true.
That's fair. That's fair, too. It's got that, like, American Dad chin.
So,
Scotty Parker does.
Mr. Graham, last thing, and I wanted to just be very brief. I'm just going to throw this at you, is now those games in hand, while daunting, there's a chance at third there's a chance at moving up because
Yeah.
those games in hand are Liverpool, who's playing well, but
They looked a little leggy.
You got to fancy your chance against them. And then the other one is against Chelsea. And Chelsea, while finding results, looks like it could be a sinking ship with all the outside elements coming in. It's there for the taking. Do you think finally now your team, after starting the season in last place, like a month into the season, do you feel like this team can find themselves in third place and within a year be challenging for titles?
Yes. I do think we will be challenging in the next couple of years. Absolutely. And I
Excellent.
would give it probably 2, but yeah. Give us a season in the Champions League, right? Sign some talent. They're going to need time to bet in. That always happens.
Yeah.
And then, yes, bang.
Yeah.
But what I will say is where the rest of Arsenal Nation were wanting to light the ship on fire with us starting 0-3, and I
Right.
told you that it was Chelsea, City, and the Brentford game was a bit of an outlier, obviously.
Right. Well, you also didn't have anybody to play in that Brentford
Well,
game
we were
either.
missing 5 out of the 11, right? One of which was our brand new center back.
And their first game in the Prem in their brand new stadium
In
with
their history.
fans
Yep.
in 70 years in the top,
Yep.
all the stars aligned. It was
They
you
were
fucked.
completely against this. They
were
could have
fucked.
played fucking Liverpool, and they
Yeah, it
did
was-
play Liverpool to a 3-3 draw just a couple of weeks later.
Precisely.
But so we were the unfortunate recipients of that. We also had Burt Leonard, remember, started that game, who didn't give a fuck. Then you had the City result. Then you had the Chelsea result. And everybody wanted to scuttle the ship. And I said, nah, you know what? We're going to be fine. Just needs time to bet in and let the COVID rip through the squad, get it over with, and then we'll be good.
Twice.
Right.
COVID. Twice.
But where, flip side, our run-in for the last few months of the season isn't horrendous. The games in hand are kind of bad,
Right.
but the rest of the games we have aren't bad, and we're the ones in the spot.
Yeah.
We have the games in hand on other people.
Yeah.
So we are actually in a good way right now. The destiny is still in our own hands.
In those games in hand with it's Spurs, Chelsea, and Liverpool, come out of that with 6 points. You're in a really good fucking
Come out of that
place.
with 4 points, we're fine.
You're in a 4 points. You're fine for fourth place. 6 points. You're talking third.
Talking third, yeah, absolutely.
You're talking third.
But also, it might be out of Chelsea's control. If they go into administration, they may actually get a points deduction.
Yeah,
They
absolutely.
haven't decided how the government's going to handle that yet, or the FA is going to handle that because the government got involved.
All right, so we had a bunch of extra games, and we have 2 more whole fucking segments to do. So let's move on to Villa and West Ham. We both said that this was going to be probably one of the more entertaining games of the weekend.
And it was.
And it was. I went back and watched the whole game. I didn't watch the highlights. I watched the whole game. I wish I was back here in the office watching that game with my wife as opposed to sitting on the couch watching the debacle that was my boring mess of a
I
match.
did keep running out there and giving you updates.
Yeah.
So which I heard you kept telling her to fuck off.
Oh, yeah. There was a lot of that.
I'm very sad that during our halftime update, we went into halftime 0-0, and during our update, I said, scoring's about to happen. This game is going to be 2-1. I was right. It just wasn't in my favor.
Now,
Okay. It was a great game. There's only one thing to talk about. There's only one thing to
God,
talk
it was
about.
so touching. I can't be
Yarmolenko.
mad.
Sam, take it away. Yarmolenko. We have to talk about Yarmolenko. I mean, that's it. That's the fucking story.
Hold on. Can I just go ahead and do my Malort shot in his honor?
Yes.
Thank you. I mean, I got nothing but I think I posted in the DU football show group, hashtag can't be mad at that. It was emotional.
You did.
It was beautiful. And honestly, if it wasn't for the Villa defense, he would have had 2 more.
absolutely would have. If it wasn't for both goalkeepers,
Cheers to that passion, man.
if it wasn't for those goalkeepers in general, this game would have finished 6-5. There were that many chances in this game.
Oh, yeah. Definitely
But
was.
Yarmolenko's was the pick of the bunch for the goals as well, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
The touch, quick feet, and snapshot with the outside of the left boot caught the entire Villa defense off guard, including
Yeah.
Emi Martinez, and it was brilliant. It was just absolutely fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
But he
His teammates also allowing him to kind of look to the fans and have room before they all
well, the other thing is when he
him.
came on the field, everybody went nuts for him, and to the point where he even clapped to the fans coming onto the field.
Yeah.
So a couple of things have come out about it, which before weren't really public knowledge. Apparently, we all knew he was given compassionate leave by the club, right? That's all we knew.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, it's hard to say. Apparently, that compassionate leave was to try to arrange for his wife and kids to get out of the fucking country.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Which they arrived in the UK about 3 days before this game happened. So he was reunited with his wife and children, and which is amazing, obviously, and thank God they were able to do that. And he trained for a couple days, then they give him a couple days off.
That was a part.
'Cause he
Apparently, part of the compassionate leave was
Yeah.
it was like, hey, how
My
do you
head's
feel?
not in it.
How do you
Right.
feel today? Do you want to come out and run? Yeah, I want to run.
Exactly.
Midway through the practice,
Dude,
just no, I'm not feeling it, coach.
Seemed like he took all of his frustration and anger, and I think anger, it was passion. He had 4 breakaways. Like, that man was determined to take some control of his life out there on the pitch. It was powerful. It was powerful, and it was the purity of soccer, because football. It was the purity of the game, because when he scored, not a single Villa person was upset.
No. And it was for all the, and I kind of want to couple this in with Christian Eriksen and his performance a little bit. I know we're going to talk about this game later, but we talked about it last summer and coming back in the new season when we first started talking about what happened over the summer.
Right.
And this was the antithesis to the moment Christian Eriksen collapsed, where soccer is our safe space. Football is our escape from the problems that we have every week and all this kind of stuff. And yes, societal problems creep in, racism, other things. We get that. The shows the support for Ukraine in this, the shows for Eriksen, that's wonderful. But it's a touching point. When the fucking whistle goes, it's about the football.
Right. Yeah.
And
That is a business.
well,
It's
but
important,
it's our escape. It's all of
Right.
ours escape. Everybody that fills those stadiums, this is the way to get away from the bullshit. Yeah.
right.
And when death creeped into our safe space with Christian Eriksen, we all felt violated.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
terrible. This was the opposite to that. To see how much shit had affected this human being over the last couple of weeks, 3 weeks, almost a month now, I guess. To see him get back to football and be able to escape for a minute, but then to have all that release of that, the buildup of that emotion because he hasn't been able to escape, happen in 1 second.
Right.
Bang. Dropped to his knees, pointed to the skies, and visible tears. I mean, it took a good 2 minutes for the game to get restarted because he just was walking like I am today after my first game in 4 years yesterday. Where it just so gingerly and slowly got back to it and wiping his eyes with his shirt and all that kind of stuff, wiping his tears away. And his team supporting him. And I mean, even the Villa players, like nobody was hung their heads about it. Everybody was like, oh, fuck. It's Jarman, like,
I mean,
it's not
if
bad.
I was on the pitch for the other team, I'd go over and hug them. I'd
Absolutely.
be like, well done, lad.
Oh,
I mean,
I
they might
bet
have.
you.
They wear the same goddamn colors.
I bet you there were hugs back in the locker room and everything after that.
For
I mean,
sure.
Nobody. What? It was take the emotion out of it. It was a fucking great goal. I mean, that was a
No,
cracker.
but
of a
absolutely.
kick.
Also, yeah, 100%.
By the way, I hate that I just said cracker of a kick and didn't even think about it, Sam.
Yeah, exactly.
So the other thing that I really love is football has these kind of weird things, right? He needed a goal in general.
Yeah.
He's got all this pent up shit going on. All this stuff's happening. And it wasn't some like he kicked it against someone's chest, it bounced back
No.
off his shoulder.
No.
He fell over.
That
and
was
it
a
trickled
solid
in.
fuck the world
Yeah,
goal.
he was like, I fucking got it.
Absolutely. So,
I believe he said "fuck you, Russia" as he was kicking it.
Yeah.
I
Fuck
think
Putin! Damn.
Vlad.
I think that this match, going back to the teams in particular, both of these teams, and we'll end on this. I feel like this is exactly the result that West Ham needed. It lets them know they're still in the hunt. There's still an opportunity. Who knows what's going to happen with Chelsea, and who really trusts anything about Tottenham or Man United. So there's a chance it could be you in third and West Ham in fourth. It is not out of the possibility.
No, absolutely not.
Absolutely not
And
that this could happen.
This entire weekend's results were probably the worst case scenario for Spurs.
Agreed. Now, Mel, yes.
Oh, I just have one quick thing
Yes,
that I
please.
found to be astounding. I love listening to the commentating team. And here is a direct quote. With, well, hope pull up the right sheet. With cat-like reflexes, Martinez denies Zuma.
It may be premature, but a few clubs at the bottom half got big wins that pull themselves away from the bottom and relegation fight. Leeds 2, Norwich 1, Brentford 2, Burnley 0, Newcastle 2, Southampton 1, Chelsea 1, Newcastle 0. We've got 8 games to cover and we're almost at an hour, so we got to kind of get through this quickly.
Easy doors.
Bamford is such a huge difference. The minute you put him on the pitch, you got the guy holding up play, you got the guy distributing the ball to the wings.
Well, that's it. Is this we're doing these together, right? Both games.
Well, we're just we're just doing Leeds Norwich.
Okay.
The other Leeds match will be in Oso.
I got you. Well, because the point I want to make about it together is that Villa, he came on as a sub, and it was his first game back for a while. Right? This game, he looked...
And McGinn fouled him within 30 seconds. Took a yellow.
Sounds about right. That tracks.
Hold on. Angry Scotsman beat someone. Shocker.
Yeah. But so that was just the only point from that. I think it was a little too soon for him to really affect the game. Right. Where here, he looked sharp.
Yeah.
The first goal, especially from Rodrigo, where it was his run that created the space for Dan James and Rodrigo to occupy. He took no less than 3 defenders with him when he made that run.
Yeah.
They felt like they had to do something about that run. They headed the ball. It was a weak header because they're running towards their own goal, trying to jump back towards that ball. Ball falls to Dan James. Kind of hits him on the hip, was a little unfortunate. And then Rodrigo was right behind him to pounce on the finish. It was fantastic. Leeds hit the bar 3 times, had loads and loads and loads of shots.
And then it almost went to shit because that
McLean
end of the
equalized.
match, Jesus.
McLean equalized, which was wild. But then a pretty poor clearance. Gelhardt, who's a local lad, heads
Had
the ball to
just been
Rafinha.
subbed on.
Yeah, 2 minutes earlier or something.
Yeah.
And Norwich it wasn't like this, 78th or 82nd minute. We're talking right on the stroke of 90.
Yeah, this was the 90 to the 94th minute.
As
end of
the
the
fourth
match.
official was lifting the board to show 6 minutes of
Yeah.
stoppage time, Norwich equalized. You're
Yep.
like, fuck. But 6 minutes is a long time. And Leeds they didn't let their heads drop. That's the most important piece. They didn't let their heads drop. They said, we got the time to do this. We can do this. And it only took them 3.5 minutes. Now, they did almost fuck it off at the end again, Timu Pukki, shooting straight at Meslier, but he got to it, and it was fine. Caught it fairly comfortably. But Rafinha, what quick feet.
Yep.
Gets past the other defender. I forget who it was. Gets past the goalkeeper, and you were like, shit, that looks like it's too far in front of him. Caught up to the ball and was able to cut it back to Gelhardt, who passed the ball to him in the first place with the header. Local lad, young boy.
Puts it in the back of the net.
Puts it in the back of the net, and Ellen Road erupts like they just secured a European place.
It's almost like the soccer gods just looked at it and went, we can't let this happen
It
to
was
him. Not
brilliant.
today. Not today.
It was
not in this moment.
Not today, Satan.
Yep. Exactly.
It was brilliant.
Moving on to the next one. Burnley, for the 3rd time in a row, have an opportunity to get out of relegation. All they had to do was get a point. They can't manage to get the point.
No, they didn't. It was a fun watch, though. Both teams did go for it, but they lacked the requisite quality to score, really. Brentford did have the better of the chances on target. But again, both keepers did play very well in this game. Not to say that Burnley didn't have as many shots. I mean, they did shoot the ball a fair amount. There were a lot of blocks in there. But there were a lot of crosses that were cut out by the goalkeeper.
Yeah.
So they don't really register as quote-unquote chances, even though they were there to be hit.
I know you want to talk about Eriksson, so please, let's do that real quick.
It just, he was dead.
Yeah.
Now he's not.
Yeah.
He took pretty much a year off almost from playing football, 8 months or whatever it was. And just the ability of the man to, with his wrong foot as well.
Yeah.
To just spray passes around and affect a game. And it's
I mean, he looked exactly like the guy we knew from Spurs.
Yeah.
That, like, ball pokes right out to him, boom, puts it right away.
It's just
you're
lovely.
Yeah.
You can't beat it. And I think he may be the single most important signing of the season, and he is going to rescue Brentford from being relegated.
Agreed.
Because they were on a shit trajectory, and all of a sudden, especially the last 2 games, he's affected play to a point where Brentford picked up 6 points where they would have probably only gotten 1.
Yeah. It's now fair to say Ivan Toney's the best penalty taker in the world. Right now, in this moment, he's the best.
He hasn't missed yet this season, has he?
No, there's no one. There's no one better. There's no one better. And what's so beautiful about it is it's the most simplest way of taking a penalty.
It goes the same way every time, and nobody can save it still.
And somehow, here's the thing: there's pace behind it. So somehow, when he does his little hockey stick thing, where all he does is walk up to the ball, move his leg back about a foot, and then go through it, it's a rocket. Mm-hmm. It's a rocket off of his foot. There's no pants off, dance off. There's no fucking silliness. He just walks right up, puts it in the back of the fucking net, and walks away. And for Burnley, now we'll get on to my team soon enough. This Burnley starting to feel a lot like Fulham of last year. You have been given more
less exciting though.
More than enough opportunities to get yourself out of trouble, and every time it's been handed to you, you have fucked it off. Everybody's going, oh, Dyche knows how to do this. Dyche knows how to do this. Dyche has normally been out of trouble by now, figuring out a way to stay up, not in trouble trying to get out of it.
Correct.
I really don't feel good about Burnley's chances.
Yeah,
and that's not just me being an Evertonian. That's me just looking at it whole going, you had 3 fucking chances. Good chances to get yourself out of it, and you're fucking it off.
At the end of the day, I would probably think still. Partially, I think because I can't accept the fact that Everton might actually go down.
Yeah.
But I think the relegation zone is going to stay as is. There may be a little bit of movement here and there, but ultimately, the last day of the season, when the final whistle blows and the dust settles, I think the 3 that are there now are the 3 that are going down.
I tend to agree with you.
That being said, you may have a heart attack on the way.
Oh yeah. I'm going to.
Till then.
And trust me, there's going to be some real thoughts here in the final segment. Newcastle. Let's talk about both of these matches kind of collectively. Gut check comeback for Newcastle, considering they went down. They could have easily just gone, okay, today's not our day. Let's piss it off. And they figured out a way to fucking come back. Chris Wood finally gets a goal, which was big.
Yeah. There's another funny one about him in the midweek where they said, you haven't lost a game in a Newcastle shirt yet. And then he touched his chest and he goes, touch wood. Which is how the British say, and apparently also New Zealanders say, knock on wood would be here.
Touch wood.
What we say touch wood. So he touched his chest and said, touch wood. Idiot.
Good solid win. Fucking Southampton doing what Southampton does. They play these amazing round of games and then they fuck off for 3 weeks. The last 3 matches, they've looked like shit. And it's like, how can we figure out this team? Like, it's just impossible.
But the other thing that's good, too, for Newcastle, from a Newcastle perspective, is you had Joe Willock playing very, very well.
Mm-hmm.
Picked up a little bit of a knock. Wasn't in. Guimaraes gets his first goal for the club as well.
Gorgeous goal.
It was amazing.
Gorgeous goal.
And then they've got, Saint-Maximin still doing his thing up front. They still, all of these different things are going very, very well for Newcastle.
VAR sees what VAR wants to see. That was a fucking penalty in Chelsea and Newcastle.
It was.
It was absolutely hands down 100% a penalty. Had a handful of jersey and was kicking him as he was going down. It was a fucking penalty.
Well-
and one could even debate Kai Havertz shouldn't have even been on the pitch to score the winner because came in pretty fucking violent, and that could have been a red.
Yes.
I agree with the yellow, but that could have been a red.
Yeah.
I would have not have if they had given him a red for that, I wouldn't have gone. I didn't see it. I'd be like, yeah, he came in pretty fucking high and
So
hot.
one of the punditry lines that I heard over the weekend and this morning that I thought was very poignant and funny is if you make Dan Burn bleed, that has to be against the rules, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Oh, that was like the two tallest human beings ever colliding,
yeah.
right? Like,
Exactly. You remember Jan Koller?
yeah.
The old Czech player that was 6'7" or some
Yes,
shit, just
yes.
a bald guy, just tower over everybody, scored a boatload of goals. But he used to play up front with Milan Baros for the
Yes.
Czech Republic. That's two of the tallest players ever colliding.
Yeah, just.
You get Peter Crouch in there, just have a good old time.
Newcastle's done what they needed to do. They're safe.
Yeah, it was unfortunate this game in microcosm.
Should have been a draw.
But
Should've been a draw.
other than that, yes, and you can't escape that Kai Havertz's goal was brilliant.
Oh, it was a great goal.
That touch was fantastic.
Great goal.
Quick feet again.
Your only question is why is he on the pitch? Because he maybe shouldn't have been.
No, he absolutely shouldn't have been. I
And-
completely agree with that point.
And do they get that goal if they were down 1-0? Because they should have been down 1-0 because
There should have been a penalty.
that was a fucking penalty. That was not as bad as the Everton handball against Man City, but that was absolutely if that was Newcastle pulling on, if that was Lascelles pulling on Havertz, that's a fucking penalty.
Or Lukaku, yeah.
That's called a penalty. It's absolutely called a penalty.
Well, really, this game didn't deserve a result because the first 85 minutes of it were trash.
Yeah, agreed.
They were garbage. The last 5 minutes were amazing. The first 85 were fucking pitiful. Which is why we haven't talked about it other than two instances.
Chelsea's getting points, but there's good points and there's points. And Chelsea is just getting points.
I also want to tout a little conspiracy theory.
Heard.
Arsenal would have pulled within pretty close distance to Chelsea, especially having the game in hand against them.
Yeah.
Well, VAR didn't give Newcastle that pen. Didn't send off Kai Havertz. They keep Arsenal down a bit.
You don't get to take my documents.
Oh, I get to do what I want to do.
They're my
okay?
documents.
The documents are the people's, Sam.
No.
They're the people's.
No.
Anybody can use them.
No, it's you and your global elitists at the pro Arsenal agenda. Forced vaccinations of take the jab VAR chips.
Satire. Satire alert.
This is satire, fucking YouTube. It is you trying to make it about you. Pro Arsenal agenda. It's all about me. I know exactly what you're fucking doing. You don't get to have it. It's mine. The misery is all mine.
What do we call ourselves? We are exposed. We are in public view.
Yeah.
'Cause we're not anonymous.
Yeah,
So what?
exactly. Rounding out the rest of the league, so that happened. Wolverhampton 4, Watford 0, Chelsea 3, Norwich 1, Aston Villa 3, Leeds 0, Liverpool 2, Brighton 0, Wolverhampton 1, Everton 0, Watford 2, Southampton 1. We have got to be quick about this.
Yeah,
'cause-
this Wolves 4, Watford 0, right? That's the first one.
Yeah, it was a combination of two things. Watford made mistakes that made it very easy for Wolves to score, and Wolves also dominated.
Yeah. And so literally I had 3 sentences for this one. I said, this is what I thought was coming against Palace 2 weeks ago because I can't let it go.
Right.
Wolves dominated in every sense. All the goals were decent or better than decent. Good game for them.
And
That's it.
And here's the sad part. Still a good week for Watford when we get on to their last game.
yeah.
Ends up being a good week for them. So that loss, not the end of the world, right?
Absolutely.
It took a lot of time for Chelsea to get past Norwich.
It did. A very
a
long
lot
time.
more than it
But-
should have.
if you're having your local neighborhood-friendly oligarch be sanctioned 12 hours before, this is what's really weird about this whole situation is all of the shit that happens against Chelsea, right, because of their owner, has happened on game days.
Yeah.
Like, time your PR and announcements better.
Right.
And that comes both from Abramovich himself and the UK government. It's like, what are you people doing? Announce that shit 2 days prior. Let the guys have a chance to, train and get their mind right. But this is if your local neighborhood friendly oligarch has something happen, not in his favor that also hurts your football club. Norwich away is the exact place you want to go. You get away from the London press, and you have a pretty easy day out.
Yeah,
for the most part.
Now, moving on to Leeds and Villa. We already kind of talked about Leeds as a whole. This thumping by Villa, because that's what it was. Villa fucking thumped them. For Villa, it was an interesting week because you're good enough to be in the top 10. You're good enough to be there. But then that loss to West Ham kind of lets you know, like we talked about with Wolves, you're not quite there yet.
Or that's a West Ham problem. We haven't beaten them since May 2015. Mm-hmm. Every time we've seen them, we've lost 5 times and tied 3. We just can't seem to beat West Ham. Like we beat Leeds asses.
Well, you dominated them. You absolutely dominated them. And, of course, it was just very funny. Bamford comes on the pitch, and the minute Bamford comes on the pitch, fucking, hey, Mel, you should pay attention to Mr. Graham. He's trying to pass you beers.
Thank you, Graham.
That means you should pass one to me.
Do I have to? I might really like it.
Yeah, well, you need to pass it to me. Anywho, the idea there is that Villa's at that point. Like, you could tell, like, they're ready. Whereas, and I'll use them as the comparison, honestly, because it's the very easy comparison to make. Villa is starting to hit that Everton status, where you're right at that moment, not what Everton is right now.
It's the reverse Everton.
Right, where Everton is just outside. They're starting to punch their way in. You can see this with both Villa and with Wolves, because Wolves had to kind of rechange who they were as a club. Both of those clubs, they're on the outside. They're looking in, but they're starting to punch. They're starting to get their way in there. These are teams that next season, I'm very bullish on being 6th, 7th, 8th place, right in the discussion, because especially if Chelsea and Manchester United want to just, Chelsea wants to fuck off because of all of their problems, and United wants to go into fucking obscurity. There's clubs that are ready to take over, and teams like Villa and Wolves are those clubs, man. They're ready to step right in.
Yeah, absolutely they are. They weren't, but then something clicked with all the players at their clubs, because if Wolves could figure out how to score goals, they'd be pushing for top 4 right now.
Oh, God, yes.
That's the one key that they're missing, and a lot of that was down to Raul Jimenez and that injury sustained against Arsenal last year.
Agreed.
He came back, and really there was one piece of play in their game, in the win, I believe it was, where Raul Jimenez, actually I think it might have been against y'all in the 1-0, where he cut in from the left-hand side between 2 players, dragged down what looked like John Joe Kenny maybe, and then had a rifle it. Jordan Pickford saved it.
Yeah.
But he had a big potential to get hammered on both sides by Everton players. 6 weeks ago, 2 months ago,
He just stepped off that.
he just shied away from that. He would have just put in a cross.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have tried to do what he did. And I think we're starting to see him gain his confidence back, because not only do you have to come back from an injury, right? You have to regain your fitness. You have to do all that kind of stuff. An injury like he sustained, like Aaron Ramsey's broken leg against Stoke, those sorts of injuries that are very impactful to your career, that you need surgery to repair and all that kind of stuff. You have to trust your body again. You have to get literally over the PTSD, basically, of that, to be able to trust and have confidence that you're going to be able to withstand a blow again. And that particular play showed that I think he's starting to get over that, and I think Wolves are going to turn a corner here a bit.
Very good.
Because I think he'll be back to scoring goals again.
All right, so on to the next one with Liverpool and Brighton. We are on fire with knocking shit over tonight. Absolute fire. We are a fucking mess. Don't worry, I'm equally a mess. I'm just pointing out that we are a fucking mess.
Fucking hell.
Liverpool, Brighton. Brighton, very simply put, we talked about it last week. They're beginning their descent, right? They're going to be safe. They're going to be fine.
Yep.
And when there is the opportunity to discuss it, I think there's a bigger discussion to be had. We're not going to have it right now. What I do want to say about Liverpool, they are winners of 8 straight. And the thing that was hurting them last season, they have this season. They have depth. Next man up, go fucking get it done. And it's showing. And they made the right signings. They brought in the right people. And
Yeah.
it's just fucking working.
So I've said this about Arsenal a few times in having the unlucky position that like Watford started to look good right before they played Arsenal again.
Right.
That new manager bump for some of the shit clubs, always happens against us. Well, when he first signed on, Luis Diaz didn't look particularly good. Like he fit in really with the Liverpool squad. Scored 2 in 2 games running now.
Yeah.
Fuck. We play them on Wednesday. Great. Also, Diogo Jota has been used as a substitute. Fuck.
Yeah.
He'll be fresh. So it's just like, again, we have to overcome this. We're going to find our form right before you cunts.
Yeah, exactly.
Not
we're going to
excited
figure
about
it out right when we're getting ready to play Arsenal.
But because I was really excited about this particular performance. I mean, Brighton, like you say, are on a normal slide, but Liverpool looked very leggy in this game.
Yeah.
Salah and Mane didn't look particularly happy with each other on more than one occasion. And now we have to play him. And of course, Luis Diaz looks like a fucking boss.
We're going to flip-flop these last 2 games. First, we're going to talk about Watford beating Southampton. Watford are now even on points with Everton. The big difference is goal differential. Big difference in goal differential.
A 20-goal swing or something like that?
And Everton and Watford still have to play each other in a game in hand, which will become a game in hand this weekend when Everton plays in the FA Cup. It'll become a game in hand because they were supposed to play Watford on Sunday. Saints are odd, man. They're just fucking odd.
Yeah.
Like, this is... Why didn't you win this game? Why didn't you win? It's in your building, and...
Well, really, because Cucho's on fire. And
Why
they
didn't you
can't
win
get
this
out of
game?
their own way. I mean,
Why didn't you win this game?
I'll tell you why. Cucho's opener was a result of 4 Southampton players thinking they were at training.
Yeah, fair enough.
Two, count them, soft back passes.
Yeah.
One that was intercepted, they recovered from, passed it into the middle again, and then another soft back pass with Cucho jumped on, rounded Fraser Forster, and put it in the back of the net from an acute angle. It's just, what are you doing? At some point, just clear the fucking ball.
All right, let's go ahead and talk about the elephant in the room.
Yep.
I can definitively say the following. It is a 4-horse race for relegation, and Everton Football Club is solidly in that 4-horse race. It's not even up for debate. It's what it is. This is one that I thought Everton could get, especially considering despite the 4-0 win at Watford, Wolves were losers of 3 straight before that game against Watford. And you would have thought they had worn themselves out a little bit against Watford and that Everton had had a full week to rest. And
a full week of training.
And what happened is Everton played decent first half hustle football, but couldn't put anything on target. And then legitimately, Wolves came out in the second half, got 3 free kicks real quick in the first 10. And the third one, ball didn't get cleared well enough, came back in, boom, goal. How's your father? Game's over. It's done. It was done. After that, there was no answer from Everton. Now, for me as a supporter, I am very bullish on us staying up because we play Watford and we play Burnley. It's in their building.
They're both away from home, yeah.
But we play both of them. We have still 2 games in hand on top of those 2.
Yeah.
And we will start to play teams that will not care.
Yeah.
We will have games against teams that will not care, that it will not matter what's going on in their world.
I will be concerned about the rest of your run-in is difficult.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. There's definitely tough matches.
I would also be concerned at the lack of goals. Every which way.
Four without a goal.
Well,
4 in a row without a goal.
Not
it's
even
very scary.
Just that is every way that you could possibly miss in this game, you did.
Yeah.
A scuff shot, a shank shot, a shot to the side netting that should have been on target.
Mm-hmm.
You hit the post, you hit the crossbar, header straight at the keeper, shot straight at the keeper.
A header
block
in the
shot.
corner. In the corner. Right in the corner.
Yeah.
It was ultimately offside.
Literally, any way that you could miss a shot, you missed a shot.
Mm-hmm.
The performance itself was okay. You played some decent football. You created some chances.
Yeah.
But you literally, it's like, what is it, Murphy's Law? Anything that can go wrong will go wrong?
And once they scored, it was over. It was over after that.
Yep.
There was nothing we could do
you
after
thought
that.
there was, what's the old thing when you can't buy a basket and basketball? Oh, what do they got, saran wrap on top of the hoop?
Yep. That's what it felt
It's like it was covered with plexiglass, the goal. It was fucking ridiculous. Jose Sa did make a couple of really good saves.
Oh, that was early on. Yeah, he made a couple of great saves.
I mean, and y'all were on top for decent stretches in this game.
Yeah.
All
first half.
I don't really fault the performance, but you got to finish. You have to finish.
Well, we
and
also have to be able to handle. We have to be able to handle adversity.
Well, yeah, Richarlison goes to the slump every year. You account for that by having Dominic Calvert-Lewin consistently hitting goals in.
Yeah.
Dominic Calvert-Lewin has been injured, so you haven't been consistently hitting goals in without Richarlison doing it.
Yeah.
Then Richarlison was injured also.
Yeah.
So his season, as disjointed as it normally is, was even more disjointed.
And I don't hold anything against Richarlison. He's been.
I don't either.
Like that match, you could tell he's trying everything. Like he's putting everything he has into it. It's just. It's not going in the back of the fucking net.
In retrospect, the manager change was made probably 6 weeks too late. And I was banging the drum for give Rafa time.
Right.
Because of a lot of the injuries, especially to the spine of the team with Decore.
Right.
All that kind of stuff.
Decore had a terrible match.
But I think that the coaching change was probably made 6 weeks too late if you're going to bring someone in. Because now you're at the fucking crunch time, yeah?
Yeah.
Now you have to get it done. Then I also begrudge for you the decision to bring in Frank Lampard himself. Relatively inexperienced.
Agreed.
Never really been in a relegation battle because he managed Chelsea and Derby, who were already in a playoff position. He just kept them there.
Yeah.
Then lost the playoffs.
Yeah.
So
that's why I also wonder why didn't we just? I mean,
Roy the boy.
No, I'm not against the appointment of Frank, but why not just, like I said early on when Rafa got let go, why not just have Dunk see it out?
Yeah.
Because there would have at least been some resolute...
Didn't Duncan win a game?
No, he lost 1-0 to Villa, and that was it. But
it was a good performance.
Yeah.
Frank Lampard has only won one game, and it was at home. He's lost all of his away games.
This game, if it was Dunk on the bench, this would have been a 0-0 draw.
Yeah.
That's what it would have been. And,
So-
it's a point that Everton needed.
Right.
Absolutely.
So what I'm saying, though, is somebody like Alan Pardew, somebody like Roy the Boy, you do a 6-month contract, right? And you do steady the fucking ship, keep us up, end of story. People like that, do it.
Yeah.
With a lot less implications than Big Sam.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Which you've already tried.
Yeah.
So I think there were talk to Frank in the summer when he has a whole summer to work with the team.
Yeah.
Bringing Frank in, end of January, whatever it was, I think it may have been too late. I worry for y'all. I really do. It's like when Batman got mortally wounded in Superman versus Batman. I don't like it.
Yeah. Well,
You're not Superman. You're not one of the elite. You're like Batman.
Well, and
you could die.
But he
Batman's
won't.
better anyways.
Batman won't die.
It's a bit of a story arc.
I'm still bullish on us staying up because again, it talked to me after Watford and Burnley, and then I'll let you know how I feel. I will say if we don't get 3 against Newcastle, or hell, if we don't get 1 against Newcastle, that'll hurt. That'll hurt a lot, especially at home.
You know what sucks? We're primarily a comedy show, right? I mean, we like to talk shit and we like to banter and bullshit. I genuinely don't want to see you go down. It's a very difficult position for me to be in. Yeah. I am expected to make jokes about this.
Right.
But I know how much it hurts you.
Yeah.
I can see it when we speak.
Yeah.
Like, it sucks. But I have to make jokes about it at the same time for the purposes of this show.
It's fine. You get to make jokes. I've been given the directive of no jokes.
I just don't listen to directives because I'm not letting him tyrant me.
Graham, she's go behind the curtains here. After the match was over, she was starting to kind of talk about it. She was like, well, I don't know how to feel. It'd be funny if you went down, but I don't want you to go down, but it would be funny if you went down. And I went, did you hear me say one bad word about your team when you were struggling to stay up? Was I supportive? And she went, yes. And I went, it's not even up for fucking discussion. Not even up for fucking discussion.
Yeah. Then he slammed the door and broke a frame.
Well, so that's why I talk about the games and the situation.
Is that before or after I struck you?
Not funny.
Well, if you're going to claim that I slammed the door shut, we might as well go the full fucking Monty.
Satire. Satire.
Mel's new nickname is Roku.
Yeah.
So that's why I try to take the performances, the results, the football side of it actually in X's and O's, which we don't normally do.
Yeah.
And then I compare you to Batman, who is the only superhero that if he were to get arrested, would just have to do his time.
Yeah. Heard.
He couldn't break out of a jail cell.
All right, time for me to do my Malort shot, and then we got to get this show done. It's going to be fucking over an hour and a half.
We're just an hour 30 now.
Fuck me.
Hour 24, 25. Let's go. Come on.
Good news. Next week is only 7 games, so we'll still manage to make that a fucking hour and a half as well.
15. You almost dropped your phone on top of everything else.
We got
y'all some like sticky gloves.
I'm bullish. We got this shit. Up the fucking toffees.
Yeah.
Fuck you, my lord.
Up to 16th.
Sure money.
Oh, that was funny. All right. This is Sure Money. This is the segment in which we make bets to better inform you on your bets because we are so pragmatic and conservative and smart.
Yeah.
I lost.
I lost too.
I'm now down 181 after actually winning my bet last week. If you didn't see the Facebook Live, I had in my mind, I bet real money at the casino on Wolves to beat Palace. I convinced myself that was also in my DU Football Show rant. It was not. So I actually hit my bet.
Nice.
I lost my real money bet. I hit the show bet.
Yes.
So I came up to negative $81. And then I promptly lost this bet because I pimped all my chances on Tottenham. And so my cup of losers says, fucking Twattenham, sad face.
Heard. Pass that to Mel. Mel will put it in the cup of losers for you. Right there,
So
producer Mel.
Before I get into what I'm going to do this weekend, Sammy, why don't you tell us what happened with you?
I missed because I went too big. I shouldn't have done a 3-game parlay. I should just kind of keep it simple, concise. It doesn't have to be big odds. Just keep chipping away at the lead because that's been working.
Right.
So I went big for the big, huge winner to make my total closer to yours, and I fucked it off. So for my couple of losers,
shits the bed.
Very true. So for my couple losers, I'm going to make a very veiled music reference that you will not get. 2 out of 3 wrong is bad.
2 out of 3 ain't bad.
Oh my God, he got a music reference. Holy shit.
Hold on. Is that Sonny?
No.
I'm joking. I know. I picked the most random person I can. I don't know who it is.
You don't know who it is?
So I picked the most random person that I knew it wasn't just to make you mad.
Meatloaf. 2 out of 3 ain't bad. So 2 out of 3
That's why
wrong.
I said Sonny Bono. I was like, yes,
bad.
please.
I missed 2 of the 3. Not doing so well.
I think you get points for being at least close.
Well, it was the same relative era. They overlapped a bit.
So I am down $829.
Big Sam's Lock of the Week.
Back to what it was a couple of weeks ago, Sam. 23.3.
Isn't that the shirt?
No, 27.9%.
Damn
of the
it.
time.
Win this bet, you cunt.
It works 100% of the time. Back to reality. Got to chip away at the lead. And Mr. Graham, I'm going back to the old honey hole because if I miss this bet, I'm happy. and if I hit this bet, I make money. I'm going to take Liverpool to beat Arsenal over 2.5 goals and Mo Salah to score. Mr. Graham, go get a draw.
I'll do my best.
Go get a draw. I'd love it. I'd
I hope
love
that
for
my
it to happen.
performance on Sunday can inspire the lads on Wednesday.
I would like to be down $929 next week. Otherwise, you fucked it off.
Okay.
And now, it's time for our degenerate gambling friend Pat's Pick of the Week.
Did you just fart?
Huh?
What the fuck was that sound? Did you just fart?
No, I'm sitting on a leather couch.
That's everybody's excuse.
Pat pooted.
As soon as I unmuted him.
What the fuck was that?
I mean, it's no so what's going on in your world, but it's pretty damn good.
That's brilliant.
alright,
So
so-
how's your week been, my friend?
It's all right. Played some golf today. I was down your way. Played Eisenhower.
Oh, there you
Oh, very
go.
cool.
How'd you like the no sand traps?
Well, they replaced them with these huge grassy knolls or
Have you
whatever
seen
the
this,
fuck you
Sam?
want to call them.
Yeah, so apparently Eisenhower famously is owned by the county.
Right.
Sand
it's
traps-
not called Eisenhower anymore, right? It's something else now?
No, I think it's still Eisenhower.
Okay.
It's like the preserve at Eisenhower.
Yeah, correct.
Okay.
I mean, we
Eisenhower's
drive by
still
it
in the
every
name.
day.
Yeah, they don't have signage up yet.
Oh.
Too expensive to maintain sand traps, the county says. So they've replaced them with these about shoulder height mounds of wildflowers.
Oh, pretty.
Oh, so if the
No,
ball goes in
ugly as
there, it's
fuck.
like, you're not going to, that's it. You're
No,
like,
it's
that
like-
ball's lost.
No, but I played there last year,
Uh-huh.
right, with a guy in my division, Billy, and I accidentally hit one onto one of these it was a par 3. The mound was on the left. I want to say it was like 14, maybe something like that. I had to hit at my shoulder, standing on ground level, because the grade of the hill is like this.
Okay.
So you can't get up on it and hit. So I had to chop at it from ground height and the club at shoulder height.
Okay.
It was fucking ridiculous.
Heard.
It's really weird to get used to. Anyway, sorry, we got sidetracked.
No, it's fine. Yeah, no. It's a fine course, though. I mean, they made some big improvements. They just need a clubhouse. I mean, I don't know why they didn't build a clubhouse. They just
still have a trailer.
Yeah.
yeah, well, without bathrooms in it, you know. But
Which
whatever.
is a shame because they used to have a clubhouse.
Yeah, I was looking at you going, we were in their clubhouse before they closed.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So
Yeah, it's like it was like walking back into the 1970s too. Like fucking the white paint was brown with cigarette smoke, and
get in.
you know
I
the
don't mind that,
carpet
though.
looked like
A little nostalgia.
No.
Hey, so real quick, the fairways are excellent. Everything else about the course is brilliantly manicured from when I played there. Besides that, Pat, real fast because we're running really long tonight. What did you shoot?
Shot an 87 with a triple and two double bogeys.
So you really
Kind of a-
fucked off your 76, didn't you?
Well, fucked off at least the low 80s, but you know, whatever. It's wintertime. I had like 40 putts or something like that. It was fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, it is tough to do. Frozen ground and all. All right, what do you got this week, my
Hey,
friend? And tell
Pat,
us
real quick, I just wanted to say real fast, just hearing that, fuck you.
Well, you know, it was good. Last year I was playing some of the best golf, so I was getting too used to having a chance at the 70s every single round, and I guess I'm just back where I started. You know, just take 3 months off and your game just goes to shit.
I took 2
But,
years off and my game went to shit. I understand that very much. All right, so what happened last week for your bet, and what do you got this week, my friend?
Well, everybody picked against me. You know, I think even the chicken took Tottenham, and yeah, I bet on Manchester United. They scored 4 goals to win 3-2, I believe.
Yep.
And yeah, so I won my bet up 800. You know, can't complain about that, except that Tottenham lost. But I don't know why they were favored. Like all the money was going on them, and I don't understand why. I think Cristiano Ronaldo, he got a hat trick in that, right?
He did have a hat trick. And much like for your golf score, Sam said, fuck you. For this game, I'm going to say fuck you, too, in terms of betting.
All right, so this week I've got I'm going to take Arsenal over Aston Villa at plus 130.
I like
I'm
that
going
bet.
to Yeah, I'm going to put 200 to win 260. So hopefully I'll be over $1,000.
Oh, yeah.
Next
Villa's definitely winning.
Okay. Well, is the chicken picking against me this week too? Because I feel pretty confident in it.
No, Chicken's not picking against you this week.
Is Sammy picking against me? Is anybody picking against me?
No.
I'm picking with you.
I mean,
okay.
I'm absolutely picking against you.
Which terrifies me even more.
But the fact that you just bet on Graham's team means I'm an absolute winner.
Yeah, I picked Liverpool to beat Arsenal over 2.5 with Salah to score.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard.
All of you are cons.
That's the weekday game, though.
All of you are cons.
Heard. Very good.
All right, Pat. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. We'll talk to you next week, bud.
I won't be sitting on my couch next week, evidently.
All right. So that's pretty good, you guys. But I have something better. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I have a surefire 3-way parlay. Arsenal beat Villa. Check.
Huh.
Leicester to beat Brentford. Check.
Mm-hmm.
Liverpool to beat Watford. Check. All of that needs to happen for a resounding plus 365, which gets me into the black.
Very good. Very
Yep.
good. Well, that's funny.
I think that's going to happen also.
Well, then the Bird picked in there too. So the Bird and Pat both picked in your 3-way parlay. Decent segment. Been over an hour and a half. God, I hope people stuck around for the chicken because it's the only redeeming quality of this show.
Well, Kitty missed on Spuds and sits at 14-11. And so I went up to the coop with some treats earlier to visit Rita and Penelope, and wouldn't you know it, Rita's cell phone pinged. It happened to be a Snapchat from Kitty.
Kitty, of course, has Snap.
I mean, Kitty's everywhere. Now, the first pick was a bottle of vodka and a couple of cans of Red Bull.
Uh-oh, Sam.
So you know what the second pick was? It was a fox's tail.
Oh, my goodness.
It's obvious that Kitty is spending time with her former beau, and she clearly fancies Leicester to beat Brentford.
Oh, there you go, Sam. Part of your bet.
Yep. So I got Pat and the chicken in favor with me, which means we're all losing.
Yep. Absolutely.
Great.
So, since you are losing, it is very important for you to remember a very important cardinal rule. Gamble legally and responsibly.
Championship corner!
I've fallen and I can't get up.
Oh, no.
The Steve Bruce bump continues as West Brom drew 2-2 with Huddersfield. Got the weekend started right on the Friday. However,
ensues.
that osmosisized, osmosis as a verb. I don't know if that's a thing. Fulham drew 1-1 with Barnsley the next day.
Bottom of the table, Barnsley.
I know. Bournemouth beat Derby 2-0, which is fucking fortunate.
Mm-hmm.
That's all that matters. Blackburn lost 1-0 to Bristol City. Blackpool beat Swansea 1-0. Coventry 4-1 over Sheffield United, furthering the tightness for the playoff race.
Right.
Millwall and Borough 0-0, Middlesbrough that is. Nottingham Forest kind of trying to make that push for the playoff spots, beat Reading 4-0, which in terms of goal difference supremely helps Derby because Reading had an extra -2 onto Derby's result, which is good to see. And the Posh actually drew 2-2 with Stoke. On Sunday, we had QPR beating Luton Town, which then gives us the table. Fulham up top, obviously, plus 59 goal differential on 77 points, 36 games played. Bournemouth in second, 65 points. Huddersfield in third on 63. QPR in fourth on 59. Blackburn in fifth on 58. Remember, Blackburn were sitting in second place, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Sheffield United up to sixth in 57 points. Luton Town tied with them in seventh place on 57 points, but 2 less in goal differential. Middlesbrough in eighth place on 56. Nottingham Forest now up to ninth on 55 points. Coventry on 54. Millwall on 54. Blackpool and Preston North End both on 51. So there are loads of games in hand across the table. There are loads of goal differential implications across the table. And there are no less, really, down to, I'd say 13th. Preston North End has an outside chance to get into 6th.
Also,
they're only 6 points behind Sheffield United at the moment.
Notts and Borough, you might as well go ahead and give them another game in hand because they both have FA Cup this weekend as well.
That's right.
So,
yeah. And Forest already have a game in hand.
And
so they'll have 2.
And approximately 1,035.6 more games to play, right?
Something like that. Yeah.
Right around there?
Close to that.
It's only a matter of time before they wrap up the season in the championship.
Yeah, that's it, man. It's pretty fucking wild.
Yeah, it is. It is. I mean, the one thing that seems to be almost guaranteed is it looks like Fulham's going to win the league. That seems pretty obvious.
That seems about it. Everything else is kind of up for grabs, to be fair. I mean, go down to, I don't know why it did that. That's weird. Go down to the bottom of the table, of course. Derby did slip back into 23rd place. So Barnsley went up to 22nd. But they're only a point separating them. Reading is on 29. So you have Derby now 5 points from safety. And Reading and Barnsley both do have a game in hand.
Oh, that's scary.
Which is not great. So Wayne Rooney's side kind of slipping a little bit the last couple weeks and could not take the chance that was in front of him when it was presented. But you'd hope sometime in the next 364 games that they'll be able to make up that difference.
All right, that's going to wrap it up, boys and girls. Mr. Graham, any parting words?
Not really, other than stop chanting Roman Abramovich during Ukrainian pregame displays. That'd be nice.
Very good. Mel, was there anything from the peanut gallery tonight? No, nothing at all? Very good. Well, that's going to go ahead and call it a night for a very fucking long show. Good news, next week's only 7 games, so...
We'll find a way to make it an hour 25 instead.
Exactly. Next up is Injury Time, where we're going to preview the weekend's action. We're also going to preview the FA Cup as well. And we're going to talk about the beers we were drinking. And we're going to check in on all of our adopted clubs. If somebody wanted to check out Injury Time, Sam, how did they go about doing it?
www.patreon.com/DFootballShow. Sign up to our one sexy little $5 tier. You get 2 extra shows, Sound Check and Injury Time. Sound Check, obviously, our pre-show, where we actually check our sound and catch up on the weekend in our personal lives, as well as Injury Time, which is the preview show of the upcoming Premier League weekend. We check in, as Sam said, on all of our foreign clubs that we kind of hold near and dear to our hearts.
We may also spill 2 beers and drop shit off tables and wreck our entire studio.
And have to pause, have to restart, have to... I also sometimes do fun things with the beers, like today. If you're not from Maryland, which a lot of people that listen to us are not, I did a seasonal anomaly that we like to call Third Winter.
Ah, very good.
In my beer selections.
Cheeky. I like it.
Third Winter.
Which what we had this weekend.
We wake up to 35 degrees.
Yeah.
32 degrees in some spots. Snow still on the ground from Saturday. Midday is about 60. And then this evening is about 48.
Well, the week before we had 80 degrees, and then the following weekend, snow.
Yeah.
Remember, our winter started with legitimately 7 degrees on Saturday and then 5 inches of snow on Sunday.
Yeah.
So as a quick, just generalized preview, just to let you know, the first beer we'll be drinking, which would taste great on a 33-degree morning, is the Breakfast Stout by RAR.
Lovely.
Then I had a Blacker the Berry fruited IPA for the midday, which would be probably delightful at about 70 degrees outside.
It really would be.
Then I've got a single malt barrel-aged ale for the evening.
Great at 40 degrees.
With a fire outside.
Love it.
So I did Third Winter in a beer selection for today's show.
Excellent.
All right. So, and as always, Patreon's just a great way to keep the lights on here. It honestly, it helps pay the bills. It makes it very easy for us to continue to put out content, and we appreciate all the help. And you could also check out our DU Drip Shack, where you can get DU football shirts, Pro Arsenal Agenda. You can get hashtag Bants, all kinds of fun stuff. And till next week, everybody.
Good night.